This is Kálmán Makláry from Budapest. Our main objective to discover and promote Hungarian artists. Since the beginning of the century, some cubist artists like Alfred Rett, abstract artists like Judith Reig and Simon Hantai. I used to work and live in Paris, and I started collecting art in Paris. I met a lot of living contemporary Hungarian artists who was living 20, 30, 40 years in Paris, and all those artists who I met, they inspired me, to not just collect, but also represent them and, do books, catalogs for them and promote them. Paris was really the center of everything after the turn of the century. All these artists who lived there, they were very original. They worked together with other artists who became very big, but they were in the same schools. Artists in Hungary, what I've seen, same for all the East European countries, the artists who stayed there, that distance and the Iron Curtain, slowed them down. So it was years and years and years when they reached that level or that art form. I worked in a museum in California, in San Diego, where I, really started falling in love with art. And after I got a job offer from the Hungarian government for Paris to work at the Institut, the Hungarian Institute, to organize exhibition for artists and, try to promote them. So I lived in Paris for a while. I went to a lot of openings here and there. I met other Hungarians, I met collectors, and of course I met artists, because of my work. And there was two artists who was, they French meant a lot to me. One name is Tibor Czernus, the other is Etienne Sándorfi. And both of them I still represent, both of them died recently in the last few years. Both of them figurative artists, but they gave me so much insight into the art and into the method of paintings. Sándorfi, we were very good friends for 8 years. And we were always joking, if I have a gallery one day, I would probably represent him. And before he died, he gave me a very big push because he broke his contract with his American gallery and he came to my gallery when I just opened my gallery. So I started to understand how the artwork has to work, You have to be international, you have to promote the artist with publication, and you have to be in contact with museums. Try to organize exhibitions for your artist. Judith Reig, I met her 7 years ago. It took me 3 years just to meet her. She doesn't really meet people. She lives outside of Paris, like 25 kilometers, very modestly, 25 square meter little studio, and she paints at the atelier. She's 88, but she's climbing a ladder every day still. When I started to work with her, there was no interest whatsoever for her work. She had a gallery before, but they never showed the early works, the 50s, which is, I think, it's astonishing. And when I started to work with her, it was quite difficult because I was selling paintings. Like in Art Paris, I had a very nice couple. They fell in love with one of the large paintings, I showed there from Judith, and they brought the money. And Judith told me, who's these people? I want to talk to them. The new collectors. I had to talk with her hour and a half. She wanted to make sure, if it's going to the right place, what other paintings they have, where they're going to put it in their house. So she got the layout of the house, what, their collection about. And after over an hour talk with them, she said, these are nice people, I can sell to them. And still, up until today, if I have a collector interested, she wants to know everything. She lived all of her life in poverty. She doesn't need money. Nobody was really interested in her works for so many years, and when I met her, she was already 80, 82. So the only important things for her in life, and what is keeping her alive, that she's still working, and her paintings, where they're gonna go. But in the last 7 years, her paintings went to major museums like Metropolitan, Tate Modern, Guggenheim, the Centre Pompidou is going to do a separate exhibition for him. So now she's trusting me very much, and she's always, calling me every day, to discuss the smallest matter about her art. I'm preparing a book on Simon Hantai, which is, I think, one of the greatest painters in France in the 20th century, the second half. It took me 8 years just to meet him. He came to Paris 1948. He was a surrealist painter first and after abstract painter. And in 1982, he won the Venice Biennale for France. And he thought the art trade is so commercial now, he doesn't want to deal with it. So in 1982, he finished painting. He closed his Oeuvres and he didn't work anymore. Only philosophical writings, but didn't do any more paintings. So it took me 8 years just to meet him. I tried to persuade him to publish a book for him. So he received me, seen me, and after, he just, pulled the time, and he wasn't very interested. But, Centre Pompidou wanted to do at least 2 times big retrospective exhibition for him. They started, and he cancelled it in the meantime. Also, the Hungarian National Gallery wanted to do a big exhibition, and he cancelled it. He died 3.5 years ago, and now the family realized, it's very important to do books. So I'm publishing my first book on Hantai right now from the works between 1949 and 1959, which is the first period when he came to Paris. And after, from 60, he did a very different so-called pliage technique up until 82. But this period, very, very unknown for collectors and for museums. There's a few museum pieces in Centre Pompidou and other places, Guggenheim, but very few. Most of the people in France or in the States know some of these works after 1960. So this book's going to be a big revelation. I find marvelous paintings in private collection, which been there for 50 years. So nobody's seen it, and we're just about to publish it. I just find a very young South Korean artist in Paris. A friend of mine exhibited her 6 months ago. I went to the opening, and I just fell in love with the painting I bought for, and I proposed her an exhibition in Hungary, which after 2 months I made it. It was very successful, commercially too, and also I exhibited at BRAFA in January, and it's going very well. But I see so many artists coming to me, presenting their works, and I try to keep the distance. A lot of artists who's very commercial. They really do it for the living. But the true artists, they do it because they're born to do it. It's no question if they don't make money or if they make money with it, doesn't matter. It's they're pure in heart, and the most important thing, to create something, to channel that energy or gift what they got, through their art. I know a lot of artists, they measure themselves how much they sell their paintings. And that, for me, it's not what it should be about.